Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. Looking at Cash Patel. Basically, he's saying that something has to be done about the Federal Reserve. Because we know the deep state has to have their money taken away from them so they don't use it against us. So he says we've got to educate people about that the Federal Reserve is not a public government entity. It's a private entity. It's not federal, and they have no reserves, right? The robber barons that started this country who manipulate the currency to their advantage, that needs to be tackled. Again, I'm not the economic guru. I just know it's a problem. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what the solution is, but it needs to be addressed. So I don't know what the solution is, but it needs to be addressed. Now, a lot of us think that Cash Patel can just move in there and start arresting people. That is not going to happen. This is the deep state. They own everything and everyone. We're all slaves to the deep state, all of us. So we have to raise our consciousness. We have to get in there. We have to get involved. We have to help those people that are in positions of power and not sit back and cry and whine why they aren't doing anything. We have to start pushing from our end. We, the people, are extremely powerful. Yeah, maybe they have 100,000, maybe they have 1,000,000 people that they can run against us. Maybe more, maybe millions. Most criminal, gangs and so forth. That's the deep state army. But we, the people, outnumber them by a massive amount, and we can overcome them. Now, it's not going to be through military means, guys. We're not going to go in and start kicking their butt. They're far more powerful than we are and ever will be. We have to do this through peaceful means. We have to expose them. When you expose corruption, when you expose the lies and manipulations that they are doing, they can no longer do it. So the more of us that get on board with this, the more of us that unite and push back against this deep state, the more effective we will become in taking down the deep state. We're in that one window where we can actually make this happen. But if we sit on our hands and expect Cash Patel and Pam Bondi and President Trump and you name it, religious figure you think has a lot of power, it ain't happening. They do not have the power to do this. We've seen this. We've seen this through time. The only way this happens is if we become more active. All right, so we're going to look at some of the stuff. I covered some of this today, and I have it on my Rumble channel, Michael J 5326. There's some things I can't put over here. All right, so and there's some things that I can't talk about. But and on the large part, I can leak bits of information like I'm doing right now, and we can work together and make this happen. Levy Davis, when do I get a wrench? Do you want a wrench? I'll see if I can get to you in a little bit. I'm on StreamYard right now. I'm not on YouTube. All right, so Super Soldier Daniel Cooper joins with Laura Eisenhower to discuss secret space program, CIA, and free energy. It's got a lot of views already. It should have millions. It probably will never get millions. But if we could get millions of people to look at this, then I think it would really radically make a big difference. I'm going to show you guys a little clip of it. That he explains the deep state exceptionally well.
Well, no, see, we do know that the Bush family was working with the Nazis during World War II, and the Nazis basically placed them in power because of that. So, but we don't know, not every Bush person born in the Bush family is inside the deep state. Certain Bushes were inside the deep state. They commanded corporations for the deep state. See, the deep state is a bunch of corporations. They're the boards of directors and the major stockholders of these corporations. That's the deep state. Those people.
All right. So this is it. He's explaining the deep state. The people with the money, the people that manipulate the wars. They're the deep state. Now, it's no longer, we've talked about this. A lot of people have talked about this over the years. I've had many people on my shows that have talked about how, yes, maybe there's still some grays and some reptilian Dracos and so forth, but for the most part, they're gone. There are some that are left, but they're on the positive side. They're ambassadors. So the deep state at this point is just the Nazis, and the Nazis basically indoctrinated the entire world pretty much. The United States is, we're socialist, so that's what the Nazis were. They were socialist in Nazi Germany. Here in America, we're socialist. We all go to the same school. We have the same education, social education system, social medicine. We all have the same medicine, education, medicine, political, social media, socialism media. So it's all the same, but the only way to break that is to take away the money system that the deep state has. Now, listen to what he says about the deep state, how many deep staters came out and wanted asylum.
Know what's going on. In other words, there were 700 people that went to, and this is true, there are 700 different deep state personnel that went to Stephen Greer and did interviews with him. So Stephen Greer is now he's up to speed as to who the deep state is. They finally told him who they are. And Trump has seen all those 700 interviews. But that's the deep state asking for amnesty. But Trump.
So the deep state's asking for amnesty. 700 are billionaires, multi-billionaires, multi-millionaires, very, very high up, are asking for amnesty.
Can't give them amnesty. Only Xi Jinping and Putin can give them amnesty. And they don't want to do it. They want them all executed. They told me way back when they want them all executed. They're not.
So Trump is not in the loop for executions. It's Xi Jinping and Putin, who the deep state is trying to make our enemies. See how this works? So long ago, they were not so much Russia, but China was given the task of destroying the money machine of the deep state. And that's where we have the BRICS, that came in and so forth. China is dumping American bonds. China's, we have this trade war that's going on with China. We have tried to take Russia out. Russia basically kicked the deep state out. They were communists at one time. The socialism basically came in there and took them over. They were able to kick it out. So now they're kicking butt in Ukraine. The deep state Nazis in Ukraine, where the money laundering, still goes on. There's evidence that a lot of people in the political realm got lots of kickbacks from all that money that went over there to fund the Ukrainian army to fight, but a lot of it came back to America into political coffers. So this is another thing that we're finding out. We're starting to expose this. Doge has done that. We're getting some really good results with that. But they're attacking Elon Musk. They're coming after Elon Musk's money. So the deep state has ways to come after everybody that does this stuff too, guys.
They have not changed that stance. And the major reason is because the deep state won't reveal, they won't reveal the highest level of their technology, and they won't disclose their off-world assets. And that's like a deal breaker for Xi Jinping and we're not giving you amnesty unless you give us everything. Not just we don't want to. It's actually insulting when the deep state says, "Well, we're going to tell you about flying saucers." That's kind of insulting. Well, we already know about flying saucers. We don't need you to tell us they exist. That's not going to earn you amnesty.
Exactly. It's like we're going to reveal all this technology, free energy. That's what we want. Now, Dan Cooper has free energy that's above everybody else. And he's ready to reveal that. And, if he had the funding, he could get that going very quickly. But the deep state's not going to fund him. And the good guys, if they came in to try and fund him, he might find himself on Mars. So all the people that came up with the high technology stuff basically were sent to Mars. and that's where the deep state keeps them. So I know this is a stretch for a lot of people, but this is, some of the things that we're going to have to start to look at on the bigger picture, so we understand, what the deep state is about, how to defeat them, and so forth. All right. So let me stop sharing the screen there. So I'm going to go over the YouTube over here so I can see what's going on over YouTube. I see a little bit over here on StreamYard, you guys posting, but it's better if I actually have my YouTube up. So I'm going to be doing that. There it is. But, it's better if I... Boom. All right. So I see you guys chatting over there. Give me lots of love. Thank you very much. All right. Give me the thumbs up so more people start to come over and look at it. If you haven't, subscribe. The more subscribers we got, the more people look at the channel and go, oh, this must be a good channel. There's a lot of people here. And they're all loving these videos. So that's the way we win, guys. Personally, I'm a very introverted guy. I'd rather be, out in the woods or out in the water, hanging out with my bros and my wife and so forth. But, I'm here revealing information on this level and bringing in guests and so forth to do the same thing. Now, other things we're going to look at are Glenn Beck and Steve Bannon. So they are basically they're whining like I was just talking about. We're not going to get anywhere with whining. We have to all work together. And if we have to create some kind of like massive social media website site, I don't know, but we need to start to work together.
Investigations, the deep state, everything we know about Brennan. Okay, talk about that. We only got a couple of minutes. Our audience, and one thing they are furious about is, and Pam and Cash are as good as you get. What's the problem? Your audience the same way. They're Steve.
Oh yeah. You can do an awful lot of stuff, but until you start putting bad guys in jail, I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
And a sense of urgency. It's not like we have this forever.
No.
I mean, if Jim Jeffries wins in 18 months, which is not outside the possibility of the race to
we're done.
They're going to impeach Trump.
We're done. So.
All right. So we all know that we're in a bad way. We have the deep state, Bubba's. They've been very successful over time, controlling us. And they're going to continue to control us unless we start to work together. It has to be a peaceful takedown of the deep state. No warring, no warfare will be allowed. We have another, and a lot of people are like, well, why doesn't the Galactic Federation come in? Well, there's a Galactic Federation of deep states, like reptilians and, Draco and, bad ET types that control like many worlds. Ours used to be one of them they controlled. But there was another group that came in and basically looked at our world and said, these humans are in the future going to advance. So we're going to give them a helping hand. And at some point, we should be living, 3,000-4,000 years. I look at my advancement over the last, 20, 30 years, the abilities that I talk about, remote viewing, remote influencing, and all of the things I do, weather movement and modification, all the things I can do with consciousness, we can do, like Jesus said, you will do, and even greater. But it takes time. It takes time to get there, and we need that time. And they have manipulated our DNA, and we die sooner than later. Many of us just party until we're gone, and you never make any advancement. So it takes many of us many, many decades, and later in life is where you start to really get it. And then you don't have much longer left, and it's you don't really have that much of an impact. So we want to get to the point where we live a longer lifespan. And that's what will come in the future, but we have to beat the deep state. The deep state is basically, dumping chemicals on us and, chemtrails in our water and so forth to keep us from getting to those higher age brackets where we will have the abilities to basically overcome them very easily. See how this works? So we have to work to, get out of this socialism medicine that we're in and get to a higher state of consciousness through, like I try and promote, life wave. So definitely getting the life wave. It's medbed technology. The medbed technology will come in later. So a lot of you guys are waiting. You may wait a long time, and you may not live to the point where you get the med beds. But there is medbed level technology out there now with LifeWave. It is working for a lot of people, myself included. It's reversing the aging process. So we need that to survive, to continue forward, so we can defeat the deep state. Right? Coming in late, yeah. So I came in late because I was working on a course that tied me up. I do shows, and then I'm doing this course on demonology, how to defeat the demons. All right. And so it took a little bit longer than I expected. Upload process was a little challenging, but I finally got it up. So I got 2 lessons over there, and you guys have access to that in the Unleashing Intuition site. So Tesla prophet think hurt by backlash over Elon Musk's political role. CEO says he will spend significantly less time. So he's basically built out Doge. He has a good staff, good people that are taking that and running it. That's what he was really about. So the electric vehicle makers' net income falls 71% in the latest, information that just came out, the earnings report. Not good. All right. Net income slid 71% in the first quarter as the company struggled to overcome competitive pressure. Now, this competitive pressure is basically deep state coming after Trump and Elon guys. Right? We saw how they came after Trump in his first administration economically. Came after his hotels, his properties, and drove him out of New York, where he had lived his entire life, where he had started his businesses, all that crap. And now he's, mostly in Florida. Although he has properties in other places, probably throughout the world, but and by any stretch of imagination, he's not poor, but he's probably lost quite a bit of income for going against the deep state. And like I said, he can't go completely against the deep state because the deep state is so entrenched and they have so much control. So this is going to have to be a gradual effort by all of us to basically, take this down. So Doge is definitely one of the things that's helping us to overcome a lot of this corruption. Thank you, Elon. Elon also was given the opportunity because he left the deep state. A deep state wanted to give him, he's building these electric cars. There's supposed to be a free energy device eventually goes into those cars. And the deep state were going to give him the technology for that, but they were going to have to give him Tesla and Elon were going to have to give up 50% of profits. This is the way the deep state works. With all the criminal gangs of the entire world, they take a percentage of their income. And that's how the deep state runs. So human trafficking, drug trafficking, weapons trafficking, you name it, illicit activity by different cabals and mafias and so forth. They give a certain percentage. Now the Italian mafias, I guess they give like 35%. They're the lowest. Right. I guess that's because where the Pope is. I don't know. And then you have the Mexican cartels are giving 65% because they want more control. And they're willing to give up a bigger piece of the money of the pie to have more control. All right. So that's what we're seeing here now. And we're going to continue to see this control system advance. But Trump is also trying to shut down the border so he can shut down the cartels, which are trying to get more control, and then run those cartels that are here, that are allowed to come here by the deep state bubbas from the Biden administration to come in and ingrain themselves. And that's how they maintain their power. So most presidents, Trump being an exception, and maybe to a certain extent Reagan, have been, anti-negative to the deep state. But we saw what happened with Reagan. They shot him. They tried to shoot Trump. They shot other presidents in the past. and we'll talk about that in a second. But this is one of the things that we are seeing now. Is Trump tied to the deep state? No, I don't believe so. But you have to work in that environment. So imagine, all of us have been in groups that were kind of shady, right? Whether it's in an office space, whether, for me, being in the military, you get some characters in the military that are kind of shady, right? But you still have to work with them. Whether you're in law enforcement, whether you're in, medical field, you name it. All of us that are good people, very honest, high integrity. We have seen, the deep state puppets out there. We've seen them, throughout time, and we know who they are. But you have to work with them. I saw this when I was in CIA. I saw it when I was in the SEAL teams. I saw it when I was in the regular military as a hard hat diver. So you're going to see these criminals and this deep state apparatus basically start to go away because they're starting to lose their money. But how is that going to happen? It's going to happen only because we start to push back on it. Only because I know a lot of you are like waiting for Kash Patel to do the arrest. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen right now. Not until we start to demand it. Remember how we started to demand? All right, let's get the JFK files out. Let's go. And then they came out. All right. So this is the way this works. So we have to get involved. Like I just told you guys last night how the three amigos, we got together and I said, it is really screwed up how they really don't, a lot of people don't talk about 9/11. And now we're seeing 9/11 talk come out, starting to come out to higher and higher. I look forward to seeing it come out in even higher realms. So that is what we need. I know a lot of people aren't going to believe it until they see the mainstream media talk about it. On some level, that is coming. Now, when they talk about it, as we know in the past, they diss everyone, conspiracy theory, blah, 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 blah. But I think that we're going to start to see this stuff come out, and it's going to come out in a more positive way. Now, we have the Trump admin launches the biggest shakeup in decades at the State Department. So Marco Rubio is basically hammering the deep state in the State Department. The State Department basically is CIA control, pretty much. At one time they weren't. Then the CIA came in. Basically, you see embassies and consulates around the world. Pretty much, they're built by the CIA with CIA money. So that's deep state money. That's corrupt money. That money comes from the trafficking, from weapons, you name it, illegal drugs, so forth. That's the way the CIA runs. They run off a lot of course, they get some from the American taxpayer, but a fraction of what they're getting from deep state operations. So Trump admin launches the biggest shakeup in decades. Like I said, 132 offices are planned to be shut down. And this is great because I saw so much waste in the State Department when I worked for the CIA. We worked out of State Departments around the world. 132 offices, including those launched to further human rights. We don't have human rights here in America. That's why we plan for it over there, because it's money laundering. Advance democracy overseas, counter extremism, and prevent war crimes. Prevent war crimes. That's a good one. We have war crimes right here in America. The plans to reorganize a leading foreign policy agenda in the United States are outlined in internal documents obtained in the Free Press. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. All right. So it is, we have to see the Doge and all these different agencies within the United States government be streamlined. Massive streamlining. It's a waste of money beyond belief. All right. Other countries can take care of their shit. All right. I promise you. So Gematria effect. All right. This is Zach Hubbard. I've done shows with Zach Hubbard in the past. It's been quite a while. I think like almost 5 years ago that I did a show with Zach. the guy's amazing. But he's like a comedian. He hammers everybody, right? He hammers everybody, everybody. And if the numbers are right and you're in the wrong side of them, you're gonna get exposed, right? But is this exposure, like I'm talking about, part of playing along with the deep state to a certain extent? So I'm going to have to like front load this a little bit because I've heard this for years, this thing about MAGA, and you're going to see this if you haven't heard it yet. So it's very interesting. We're going to let him jump into this, let him explain it. He does a great job. Now, I look at his subscribers, 45.9. He's probably had about, 15 different channels like I did, but he's still on there. He kind of skirts to a certain extent, but he reveals quite a bit of information. And I think the reason why he is still up is because there is a shift right now in free speech moving in the right direction. And that's one of the reasons why, obviously, I'm back here. So it's promising.
Changed it to Denali, and remember, it was Obama on the 45th birthday of the Church of Satan, April 30th, 2011. He was having the White House Correspondents' Dinner that night.
All right, he's talking pretty fast. He's talking about the Church of Satan. It was their 45th anniversary, okay? And this was before Trump became the 45th president, and Obama was celebrating an event on their 45th anniversary. But, of course, he wasn't openly celebrating the Church of Satan's anniversary. But he was having a celebration April 30th.
Invited Trump, and Trump was there. And Obama told the joke about how Trump will become number 45 on, again, the 40th birthday of the Church of Satan. Not to mention the Church of...
So he's like, Trump, you'll be like the 45th someday, like in a, some dreamland, right? He was joking it. But it was probably already planned. I've seen a lot of stuff where Trump was positioned to be the 45th president, right? So there is, both sides at work. Remember, the deep state pretty much is 90% in control of the world. 90% at least. So for that to be taken down, you're going to have to play along a little bit. You're going to be working in an environment where there's knuckleheads, right? Not everybody's going to be smart. And I tell you, all the deep state guys are just like dumbasses, big time, right? So I don't care how rich they are. You got rich because your deep state bubbas let you get rich, and that's why. It wasn't through merit, right? All right, so let's listen a little bit more of this.
His birthday is always 45 days before Trump's June 14th birthday. But again, the highest degree of the Church of Satan is mega. And you know what? Every time I do a video and I don't...
All right. So, MAGA. So I know a lot of people are, like, I love MAGA myself. Make America Great Again. I got hats. But I've heard this before. And like he's saying, people like just go over, what do you mean the Church of Satan? Can you like punch in MAGA Satan? Go ahead and do that. Church of Satan. Go ahead and do it right now. All right. You're going to pull it up and I'm going to show you myself that it is part of their, it's part of the Church of Satan, guys.
I'll say this. People that would comment like, prove that it's the highest degree of the Church of Satan. When you guys are out there doing that, do you not, I mean, if you're watching me, you obviously have access to the internet. Have you ever just thought about like doing a web search? Is mega the highest degree of the Church of Satan? Let's just see what happens if you ask Jesuit-controlled Google. And the Church of Satan, the highest rank is...
All right, so there you go. It's like, it's not that hard to learn a lot about this stuff. You don't have to just depend on guys like us. You can, if you don't believe, because I know I'm around knuckleheads, right? Knuckle draggers, alpha males. It's most of my life. But if you look at that website, so now I'm going to bring it up for you. So, and then we're going to go down a little bit of a rabbit hole. I'm not going to go too deep with you. I don't want to hurt you, but here we go. And I'm really not hurting you. I'm just informing you. It's not hurting you unless you let it. The deep state can't hurt you unless you let them, right? So members of the priesthood have the titles priest, priestess, magister, magistra, or magus, or maga, right? So let's look at the Church of Satan. What does it say right there? Priesthood. All right, members of priesthood have the titles like I just described. Magnus or MAGA. Make America Great Again. Did Trump get it from there? I don't think so, but maybe it's an ode to them. It's like a little, yeah, there you go, MAGA. We're like, yeah, okay, everything cool? We're cool, all right? And then in the back of Trump's mind, we're like, we're going to get your ass. We're going to figure it out, and we're going to get you, right? That's the way I play. The Council of Nine, which is the ruling body of the Church of Satan, and the Order of the Trapezoid, who help in the administration of the Church of Satan as are part of the priesthood. Now you can go in here and go deeper into this. It was founded by Anton LaVey. He was trained by Aleister Crowley, and there's others. We just go down the list. You can do it too. You can go down this list too. All right. One after another, after another, after another. Now, he went on to talk about the assassination attempt against Trump and how Trump changed the Alaska Denali to Mount McKinley. So Trump was, remember, in Butler, PA, was almost assassinated. And that's very similar to Theodore Roosevelt, who was also almost assassinated. And how did Theodore Roosevelt, who was vice president under McKinley, become president? McKinley died. And we're going to talk about that too. All right. And Roosevelt was politicking. Where was the area? It was Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I think the Gilpatrick Hotel. So he was shot. And fortunately, he had his speech rolled up in his pocket, and he had like some kind of case. I don't know, cigars or cigarettes or whatever. He had some kind of metal case in his pocket too, and a bullet hit that, went through his speech, and lodged in the upper part of his chest muscle. It didn't penetrate his lung. Now, he's a hunter. He knew that he wasn't getting any red spittle in his lungs or in his breath. So he stayed and completed his speech. Right? He stayed and completed his speech. And the guy that shot him, they like grabbed him and said, no, don't string him up, because they're going to string him up. And they're like, no, arrest him. And it's quite a story. You should read it. Deep state, stuff killed McKinley when Theodore was the vice president. Is there some kind of similarity going on? I hope not with, his Trump's vice president. So, but who knows? So Donald Trump spoke 1,500 feet from where Theodore Roosevelt survived assassination attempt. And this was after President Trump's assassination attempt. And I think it was within a week or so that he went out there. And that's where the GOP had their, the GOP convention. So very interesting, right? So all these tie-ins. And when Trump, one of the first things he did when he came in office was to change the, Mount Denali to Mount McKinley. That was one of the first things executive order, boom, right away. It's pretty crazy, right? So what was going on with that? I don't know. But you would think that, after surviving that, Theodore Roosevelt, so he He came into office as from the vice president. I think McKinley was there not very long. Now, what happened? McKinley was the last president to have served in the American Civil War. So I think he was a general. I'm not sure, but he was definitely up there. Now, he came in to bring prosperity. He believed in protective tariffs. He believed in protectionism would bring prosperity. Sound familiar? In 1890, McKinley tariff was highly controversial, and together with the Democratic redistricting aimed at gerrymandering him out of office, led to his defeat in the Democratic landslide of 1890. So we know that the Democrats want to continue that in several places and in Ohio. So he was elected governor of Ohio in 1891 and 1893, and then eventually Republicans nominated him in 1896 during a deep economic depression, which is what we're headed for. So lots of similarities. I can see why President Trump wanted to name Mount Denali back to Mount McKinley. I think it was changed. So very, very interesting time frame. So it goes on to talk about how he was, he was at Western Virginia, Antietam. That was a badass battle. Antietam, brutal. Shenandoah Valley, wow. So yeah, he was in some pretty significant battles, but he was assassinated within a very short period of time of coming into office. Of course, there was Cuba crisis and war with Spain, Spanish-American War during his time frame, and Hawaii was made, Panama Canal. So this guy was like, he did a lot of stuff. And so anyway, he was shot by a guy, and he was trying to push tariffs and all that kind of stuff, just like Trump is. So similarities with Roosevelt coming in, and Roosevelt basically did a second term, and he's like, nah, I'm not going to do any more terms because I did my 2 terms. But he wasn't elected. He just rose into office, and hopefully we won't have J.D. Vance do that too. So I don't know if there's kind of similarities or like, predictive programming here. Don't do that, please. Right. So let's bring awareness to this and like stop. So Woodrow Wilson eventually would win. And who brought in the Federal Reserve? Woodrow Wilson. And Woodrow Wilson basically won by a landslide in the election of 1912. So Theodore, who was part of the Bull Moose, didn't win. And you would think that assassination attempt would have had, would have helped him out, because it has for other presidents, but nope, it didn't. Like Reagan, when he got assassinated, or assassination attempt on him, he won a landslide the next year. Trump won in a landslide, but not so much for Theodore. So I guess he didn't get many votes, actually. Electoral votes was 88, and Woodrow Wilson had 435. Now, World War I, Woodrow Wilson. And also the Federal Reserve was signed in during Woodrow Wilson, because we know that the Democrats are fully on board with the deep state. All right. Now, that doesn't mean that the Democrat Party people, right? The party itself is corrupt. Yes. Part of is basically deep state. Way more than, I've said this over and over again, way more than the Republican side. But pretty much both parties are corrupt as hell. Everything's corrupted by the deep state, guys. Everything. And the only way we defeat that is raising awareness and peacefully taking back our power. And that's coming. That's what we're doing right here, talking about this, bringing awareness to this. And so like Karen is talking about right here, happy to be here, Michael. You're doing a great job. Keep on exposing the evil ones. History always repeats itself, unfortunately. So, but history only repeats itself for people that are unlearned. All right, don't learn from history, and we're learning from history, right? I'm talking about history here, and we're learning from history, and we're not going to repeat it. and we're going to move forward and do much better. All right. If we allow it. Yes, if we allow it. So, moving along. So, Alaska legislature asked Trump to retain Denali's name instead of change it to Mount McKinley. I don't know. I think it should be changed to McKinley, but so the deep state took him out. Deep state definitely took him out, right? He was going with. I guess there was a lot of business practices and banking practices. Sound deep state, right? That he was against, and they killed him. There's no question. And of course, they tried to kill, the next president, Woodrow, and or not Woodrow, but I was just talking about anyway. So, geez, my mind is like a mile a minute, and I can't go back. So, anyway, we'll move forward and look at the Church of Satan, a religious organization that practices Levian Satanism. Yes, enough of this crapiola. That's right. So, Levian Satanism, as defined by LaVey, is a philosophy and religion that uses Satan as a symbol of individualism and personal freedom. Individualism and personal freedom. Right? Do what you want. Do what you want. That's what the Satanists all say. The socialists and so forth. The Church of Satan is considered the first organized organization dedicated to Satanism in modern times. So it was founded in San Francisco in 1966. All right, San Francisco, which is basically imploding on itself. Satan is seen as a symbol of rebellion and personal liberation rather than a literal deity. Atheistic nature is formerly Levian Satanism is formerly atheistic, viewing Satan as a symbol of humanity's animal nature. So beliefs, blah 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 blah, accepts certain spiritual ideas, including magic. That was pretty much Anton LaVey really pushed that. And Aleister Crowley he wasn't a Satanist, he was a magician. That's how they, say that. Oh, he wasn't Satanist, he was a magician. He just practiced Satanism. They said that. The Satanic Bible, written by LaVey, is a key text of the organization has influenced other Satanist groups. So if you're curious as to what Anton LaVey looks like, if you don't have the time to look it up, right? Anton LaVey. Let's look at this. Obviously, very satanic looking guy, right? Woo! Right. Okay. And that's the way this is. And so there you go. Church of Satan, founded in 1966 in San Francisco. All right. It gets better. All right. So we have Michael Aquino. Now, Michael Aquino, and I'll just share the screen so you guys can read along, look along while I read it. So Michael Aquino got involved with the Church of Satan. And as you see, he was a military officer. And look at those eyebrows. Got those horns going on. Aquino was born and initially raised in San Francisco. His family moved to Santa Barbara. He came back and lived in Telegraph Hill. I think that's where Nancy Pelosi lives, Telegraph Hill. He was an Eagle Scout, looking good. Got a bachelor's degree, political science, poli-sci. And then ROTC, United States Army, distinguished military graduate. Then he went to regular Army commission. During the Vietnam War, he worked with the Green Beret. He was not a Green Beret, but he worked with the Green Beret as a psychological. He says psychological warfare, right? So that is interesting. Psychological warfare, right? And that's what the Satanists do quite a bit, MK Ultra, all that stuff. So it goes on. He did a seance or satanic ritual and Heinrich Himmler's castle, whatever, and then he came back and founded the Temple of Set. He joined the Church of Satan. Then they had a disagreement, and then he moved on and founded the Temple of Set. And after he left it, ritual in which he asked Satan for advice on what to do, and Satan appeared to him in the summer of 1975 and said he wanted to do this Set thing, and like ancient Egypt and the Book of Coming Forth by Night. It sounds really good, right? Automatic writing, yeah, that's all the stuff that we know: black magic, occult, hermetic, all that stuff. So he had child molesting allegations. San Francisco police began investigating allegations of sexual abuse in connection with the Army's Child Development Center at the Presidio of San Francisco. So initially, a girl came forward in 1987, identified Aquino as a culprit. At least 58 out of 100 children who had attended the daycare center showed physical and mental signs of sexual abuse, leading to a lawsuit by the parents for $60 million in damages. Investigation was launched, and no one was found guilty. How about that? And after all of this, he goes on. He lives a little bit longer, all the way to 2019, September 2019. So just before COVID. How about that? After a long illness, Aquino died at 6:08 p.m. on September 1st, 2019, at 72 years old from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. Yes, I bet it was self-inflicted. So that's the way these guys usually die. They get out of line, and then they're taken out of line. You're no longer in line. You go bye-bye. All right, so, make a deal with the devil, and eventually, he's come calling for your soul. And that's the way it works. All right. So let's go a little bit different. Since we're on the military theme, let's look at the Pentagon. Yes, the Pentagon. Oh, yeah. So that's a good one. So the Pentagon is, of course, in Washington, D.C. It was built during World War II, and usually after wars, the military downsizes almost to nothing. Taxation stops, because that's why taxation was supposed to be. And they never did away with the Pentagon. And taxation is worse than ever in history. So a Pentagon star refers to a pentagram, which is a 5-pointed star polygon formed by drawing lines, blah, blah, blah. All right. So what does it say about that? All right. It says Wicca and paganism. The pentagram is a common symbol in Wicca, often representing the elements of nature: earth, water, air, fire, spirit. The 5, are the sacred feminine. Okay. Doesn't sound so bad. Satanism. In Satanism, particularly the Church of Satan, an inverted pentagram with a goat's head, known as the sigil of Baphomet, is a prominent symbol. So, is that what the Pentagon is about? Is that what the Pentagon's about? I've been in the Pentagon a few times. I don't know. I didn't get a good feel for it, actually. I thought it was kind of creepy. I never worked there. Just went there to get some, information, so that when I was setting up trips for SEAL Team 6 for shipboarding, we could do some shipboarding in one of the rivers with the old World War II shipping line that they mothballed in one of the rivers, and we went there, and I didn't go into all the underground, levels. I didn't need to do that. Took care of business on the surface, and then I went to a federal business complex where we spent the whole day. It was such a waste of time. It was like, why do we have to And I was asking this was like the SEAL frog. He was like the bullfrog. So the bullfrog of the SEAL teams is the guy that's the longest serving in the SEAL teams. So I was hanging out with the bullfrog of the SEAL teams. Very good guy. Working at SEAL Team 6. So he's showing me around as if I was going to, maybe assume those responsibilities. I moved on. It's like, I can't do this. It was such BS. So we went into this federal complex where it had multiple high-rise. I've talked about this before. Multiple, I mean, they were like, I don't know, 20, 30 stories. It was a high-rise. And there were floors, just long floors of people and desks. You go up the elevator and you come out a floor and there'd be all these desks, 20, 30 desks with people sitting at them doing nothing. Right. And I remember we talked for hours to this one woman. She was waiting on her boss because she didn't have authority to do anything. So she's just talking to us. She was doing nothing but talking to us for like hours. And then the boss came back from lunch after hours and he took it, looked at it, signed it, and then we were gone. And I remember walking and as I'm looking out the window and I'm looking at all the people on that floor, I'm looking out the window, all the different buildings. And I'm thinking it's like that on every floor, on every one of these buildings, people doing nothing, getting paid to do nothing. Thank you, Elon Musk, for finally taking care of that. All right. So I told you guys so we're talking about demons. I didn't even plan this, but I'm building a demon course, how to defeat the demonic realm. Right. Demonic hidden forces in the modern world, recognizing, cleansing, and preventing their evil influence on people, places, and society. So I just uploaded my second course. There's going to be 4 more. There's a special right now. It's only $99, and once I'm done, it'll be $145. So some people like to, get the specials. Some people just like for it to all be done. Whatever, I highly recommend this course. Very, very informative. It's what we need. Everybody needs to know this stuff, right? But not everybody has time. I understand that. So let's look at the Pentagon. The Pentagon, of course, the 5-star, and it's the top of the Pentagon. So if this was like the top, and it was pointing down, I guess that means satanic, and that's the way the Church of Satan uses it. If it's pointed up, it's the Star of David. It's like, okay, if it's up, it's Star of David. That's good. If it's down, it's the Church of Satan. All right. So now look at this picture. It looks like the pointy end is pointing at the Washington Monument. It's interesting. Interesting, right? Now, I want you guys to look at this area over here. It's right by the road, the highway. So here's the highway. It's my way of the highway. No, but this is the highway. And you guys remember there was like a jet that crashed into the Pentagon, right? So look at that little grassy area. That's all. That's all that is. That's not a lot, is it? That's not a lot. Oh, that little grassy area. Wow. So, so I drove there after that airline supposedly crashed into the building, which it didn't. We all know that. But supposedly that, crashed into the building. There's like a little flash of light of explosion. There are no wings. There's no fuselage. There's nothing. It would have had to it crossed over the highway perfectly low. It would have ran into fence. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. It was a missile. And some people are saying that missile was fired from an Israeli submarine out in the Potomac. I don't know. I don't know if a submarine can get up the Potomac. Potomac, I don't know if it's that deep. So whatever. So, I mean, there's lots of theories out there about this. However it happened, it wasn't a plane that crashed in that building, guys. Absolutely, unbelievably bullshit that anyone would believe this. All you have to do is just drive that street where the crash happened. So here it is, a little bit of the footage. All right, so of course they don't have footage of an airline flying into the building. The Pentagon, you would think that it would have like a billion cameras pointing every direction, right? The FBI went and seized all the ones that were in the outer in stores and so forth. They seized them, but we've never seen any footage of the aircraft. And we've had, and I remember seeing there was like people that were, and I saw it like skim across the grass and crash into the building. And I was like, that guy looks like CIA. That guy looks like CIA. And I think he was. So witnesses, right? So here it is. It's coming in. So this is a mock-up coming in over the road. So you see the road down here at the very bottom, and then it just skims across there. They don't show the fence. It's not at the lower level where the crash would have been. All right. So it's like there's a building and there's an explosion. Building, explosion. Building, explosion. Boom. All right. And initially, I remember seeing it and it was like, that doesn't look that big. And then eventually, it started, more of the building started to fall down. And I was like, that's odd. That initial explosion must have weakened all of the surrounding building material. And we know that that was where they were looking at information about that bombing that they had, that Bill Clinton was involved in, the Clinton organization, down in Oklahoma. So they're looking at all that information, and that's that area where they're looking at it just got blowed up. And it was brand new. They were just working on that area. They had just refurbished that area, and that's the place where the plane supposedly crashed. So this is a cab that I guess the airline hit one of the lights, and the light fell down and hit that cab as it was going over. I think the lamp post was blown, all right, and it hit that cab. Because if airline, have you ever seen an airline that has actually, I could show you, but you should look it up yourself, that has been running along, like the runway, and it got offline and it hit like a lamp post or something like that. It destroys the wing, destroys the aircraft, because it's aluminum. It's this very lightweight aluminium for you. I know a lot of you guys in UK watch me. So aluminium, you happy? You happy? I know how to say that. I know how to say aluminium. And what's the other one? Jaguar. I can say Jaguar too. And what is? No, I should stop. But anyway, there it is. It's smoky. It's scary. They found parts, an engine that was very similar to a cruise missile, I think. Or something like that, right? So I don't know. It's you make up your own mind. It was really a plane that crashed in the building, or something else, right? I think we know that Pentagon, those Pentagon people. Yeah. All right, so we do have movements going in the right direction. We have Representative Comer sends a criminal referral of Andrew Cuomo, as we know, used to be the governor of New York during, the COVID thingy. And he put, they had to get a very high, a lot of people dying. And so they put seniors that were infected into homes. And there was a big problem with that. And a lot of people went bye-bye. And then they were like, okay, see all these people going bye-bye? You got to get that thing in the arm. Right? So Andrew Cuomo. So what are they referring him to? So do you know he got pushed out because there was a lot of heat that he was getting for that, and that was coming from, I think, Janice Dean, who was a weather forecaster for Fox. I don't even know if she works with him. She probably got pushed out because of that. But she basically went on a one-woman campaign, and same thing, guys. We get involved, we make a difference, and she hammered him. And then they were like, "Oh, look, he abused all these women. He must go because we don't put up with that as Democrats. No abusing women. No, 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 no." So he left office, and he's been laying low, thinking people forget. So he's like trying to run for mayor of New York. And now they're coming up with information. So House Republicans have asked Attorney General Pam Bondi, House Republicans actually getting involved in doing something? Have their constituents gotten involved? What's going on? Must be. Attorney General Pam Bondi to charge former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo for making criminally false statements to Congress, citing overwhelming evidence that an audit he presided over had lowballed nursing home deaths during the COVID-19 pandemic. Woo-wee! Woo-wee! Oh, I got to get that woo-wee call. Woo-wee! 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 So I think he's going to go bye-bye. I think he's going to go bye-bye. I think and that will be the start. But we have to get involved here. You New Yorkers, I know you New Yorkers watch me too. I was like, dang, New Yorkers watch me. And I look at the stats. I don't know why. I think I'm going to learn something from it. That even though there's a lot of Democrats in New York, you guys don't want war, and you don't want this bullshit either, right? You don't care what your party says. Your party doesn't really speak for you, I guess. So we're going to see, I think, a major pushback against Cuomo. He's a bummo, and he's going to go bye-bye into something else, another existence. All right, another existence somewhere, with his nice suit, his nice tie and shirt. All right, he can go in and he can wear the orange jumpsuit. It'll be good. He'll like it. He'll look good in that orange jumpsuit, and they'll probably sport him around. And they're like, he'll be, I don't know, mayor of Rikers Island or wherever they send him. I don't know. So Andrew Cuomo is a man with a history of corruption and deceit, now caught red-handed, lying to Congress during the Select Committee's investigation into the COVID-19 nursing home tragedy in New York, said Oversight Chairman James Comer, Republican from Kentucky, not a deep stater, obviously. All right. In a statement, go Andrew Cuomo, bye-bye. All right. Go Andrew Cuomo, bye-bye. And so Chris Cuomo, remember Chris Cuomo? He was an a-hole too about that COVID stuff. And once he got fired at a CNN, he got pushed out because people spoke up. I think he had some, issues with sexual abuse or something too, didn't he? Like these guys, they're all like, and they had both sides, guys. They had both sides. You know what I'm talking about. Those guys, all of them, both sides. Right? Both sides, and that's what we're seeing right now with Starmer in UK. So yes, my London fans, I'm speaking for you. So I know you guys want Starmer to go bye-bye. He was caught in a very delicate situation with another man in his office, and I guess that was they got it on closed caption TV or something. Wow, how about that? So go ahead, fool around, do what you want. Satanist, do whatever you want. But those of us that are of the light, we've had enough. We've had enough of it. All right, let's look at the stock market. Stock market was up today, and we could see this rally continue, guys. I think we saw the lows, and then it just kind of like went down on Monday, and today it's up. It was up pretty good. It was down pretty good yesterday. 900 down yesterday, up 1,000 today. So why not? And I think tomorrow it's going to continue to go up, and probably the next day. I don't know how much. Now Bitcoin is on a tear. Woo-wee! Soo-wee! It's piggy time for Bitcoin. I think it went up like 6 or 7% It was like I was like, if it goes over 88.8, you're going to see it take off, and it did. It did today because the stock market went up, and yesterday it was going up, and I was like, I bet the stock market's going to go up tomorrow. Sure enough, it did. Because the deep state plays with his money. They like to jerk it around, up and down, all around, and not many of us make money on this stuff anyway. But if you're in silver, you're going to get rewarded. You're going to get rewarded, guys. I promise you. It's going to explode. So don't worry about all the other stuff. If you're in the other stuff, that's fine. But you must, if you must decide to be in the silver, it will make a difference. I promise you. You'll be happy. You'll be happy you listen to me. Now, tomorrow, just watch this thing. It may just go sideways. If it goes sideways tomorrow, that means probably a biggie up on Friday. If it pulls back a little bit tomorrow, that'll be like, the bears will be like, see, it's just going to keep going down. And they'll jump in, and the bulls will be like, their horns will come out, and they're like, steer those bulls or those bears. All right. But yeah, stacking silver good, Janet. And so we'll see those of you that have been stacking silver be very, very happy. Of course, I got the guy, you want to be with my guy. If you're not with my guy, in the description box, you should be. All right. Dr. Kirk Elliott. All right. So what else do I got? I got a few more things here. Oh yeah. Pope Francis. Poppy's gone. All right. And it's, I think it was determined. It was determined that Poppy would go now. Poppy Pope. And I think he's probably been on ice for a little bit. It's like, okay, this is the time.
Papal funeral now after the passing of Pope Francis.
The Pope's coffin is set to be transferred to St. Peter's Basilica tomorrow for the public funeral on Saturday. NBC's Jay Gray has more from Vatican City.
The faithful continue to honor and remember Pope Francis this evening here outside of the Vatican. The pontiff will return to St. Peter's Basilica for the last time tomorrow morning, the second station in funeral rites for the Pope. His body will lie in state through Friday evening ahead of his funeral Saturday morning. The President and First Lady, along with dignitaries and leaders from around the world, will join hundreds of thousands in and around St. Peter's Square to say thank you and one final goodbye.
Well, definitely it's a sad moment right now for the Catholic Church. Pope Francis was revolutionary, was a pope that made great changes in the different beliefs of the Church, of people. He's in our hearts. He's with God right now.
Traditionally, the highly secretive conclave to elect a new pope begins 15 to 20 days after a pontiff's death. The largest group of voting cardinals ever, 135, will gather behind the locked doors of the Sistine Chapel.
Wow. 135 cardinals. The largest ever. Boy, Catholic Church has a lot of money to, afford all those cardinals. So who will be the next? Who will be the one? There's lots of people talking about it. If we can, we'll have Leo Zagami come on. At some point, we'll probably have Leo. We always have Leo Zagami come on. He's an expert in this area. So Leo, call out to you. Come on, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. You're the expert in this area. The Illuminati and the church and Satanism and all that stuff. So come on, let's do it. All right. So it could be a black pope. And this guy is pretty, I said this yesterday, if we don't get a really good conservative pope, we're doomed. If we get another Jesuit like Francis, it's not going to be good. All right. Deep state action must be stopped. And I think the Catholic Church continues in a better vein, much better vein. And this African cardinal, who's 79, just barely makes it under the wire, because I guess you have to be under 80 or below or something like that. So this is Robert Serra. He's a favorite of conservatives as anti-woke pope. All right, I like it. He's got my vote. Says, unlike Pope Francis, who often leaned into progressive stances on social justice and inclusion, Sarah represents a starkly different vision, rooted in doctrinal rigidity and cultural conservatism. He is not currently among the front runners, but I think if we talk about it and push it, he will be. So it comes at a time of ideological division within Catholicism as the church grapples with questions of modernity, sexual identity, and religious pluralism. So it's interesting. What to know. Sarah has warned that Western secularism, including abortion, euthanasia, pornography, and gender ideology, are eroding the Christian foundations of Western civilization. I love this guy. Love this guy. There is no homosexual problem in the church. There is a problem of sins and infidelity. In a pushback against Pope Francis, Catholic bishops from Africa and Madagascar in 2024 rejected his approval of blessings for same-sex couples. Priests from sub-Saharan Africa have also played a notable role in shaping conservative Catholic views in the United States. Enemy of Islamic fundamentalism. This is very important, guys. This is a deep state puppetry right here, Islamic fundamentalism. Sarah also describes Islamic fundamentalism as one of two apocalyptic beasts, naming organizations such as Boko Haram, the Islamic State, and Al-Qaeda, according to Catholic News Agency in 2015. So I like everything about this guy. This guy is rocking it. He's from the African country of Guinea, Western Africa, little country. And it's going to be good if he gets in there. So he's got my vote. Of course, I'm not Catholic, but if I was Catholic, I'd say yay. So you Catholics, get on it. Get on it. All right, let's go. Let's make it happen. Let's get this man in there. We need a good man in there that supports good Christian values. So same thing, guys. I'm talking about we have to shut down the left, the deep state's money. And one of those people is a Swiss bankster, billionaire. He has given $800 million into left-wing causes across America. Hans-Jörg Weiss, 89, a Swiss national with an estimated net worth of roughly $5 billion, has quietly, that's the way these deep staters do, become one of the most influential donors on the American left. I wonder if he's one of those 700 that is begging not to be executed, right? The deep state guys. He very well could be, because he's funded millions in climate change groups, abortion activists, and the Clinton, drumroll, the Clinton Foundation. Boy, is he corrupt. All right. So we're going to see a lot of this stuff get, taken down. A lot of these people are going to be exposed. And same thing with the non-governmental organizations, NGOs in the United States. The United States gives these people or these groups incredible amounts of money, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars, and there's no accountability. They can do with it whatever they want. And a lot of that's getting shut down. Of course, we saw that with USAID, but there's a lot of other groups out there that are getting way too much money, and it needs to be stopped. All right, guys. That's all I got for now. Lots of love to you guys. Stay in the love vibration, and we'll see you guys next time.